So I would usually start one of my car reveals with a little bit of a montage, but I think I should let this car speak for itself. I really hope that comes across on camera. What a noise, what a noise. We're gonna get into everything about this car in today's video, where I'm gonna tell you why I bought it, everything you need to know about this car, the Shelby GT350, the mods that I plan on doing to this thing, and a lot more. If I'm gonna do that though, I'm gonna turn it into good neighbor mode, quiet up the exhaust. I've got some valves here so I can not annoy all my neighbors. I was actually giving you guys some hints on my Twitter and my Instagram page about what car I was gonna buy, and a bunch of you guys actually guessed it right based off the sound alone, which I guess is a testament to the Shelby GT350's noise. We will get back to that in a moment. Let me tell you a little bit about this one. This is actually a car that's a little bit different for me, honestly. Most of my cars, or I should say all of the cars I've ever owned, have been all-wheel drive. This is actually my first rear-wheel drive car, so it's definitely a little bit intimidating with, we'll call it, the Mustang stereotype. I'll be honest, anytime you have a 500 plus horsepower car with a manual and all the power to the back, yeah, it gets a little bit scary. Anyways, so let me tell you a little bit about this Mustang. So this particular one is a 2017, and the previous owner absolutely babied it. Let's just say he was having a midlife crisis, went out, purchased the loudest Mustang that he could, and then his wife didn't really appreciate that and made him sell it. Anyways, because of that, it was like his little pride and joy. He babied it so much. So this car is literally spotless. The front half of the car is actually wrapped in an entire clear bra, so no rock chips, no little scuffs, nothing. And then the entire car actually has a ceramic coating on it, so basically all the water and dust just slides off the side. It's really cool if you've ever seen that before. There is actually only one mark on this car, just like the nature of a low car. The front splitter's a little bit scuffed up, but at the end of the day, that's like a $200-300 little bit of plastic, and I'm gonna scuff it anyways, so it doesn't bother me. So unlike regular Ford Mustangs, the regular V8 Mustangs are a 5-liter engine. This is a 5.2-liter engine. It is the Voodoo Ford Mustang engine. It has a flat plane crank, and the only way to explain that without getting too nerdy is the noise is ridiculous. There are not many cars in this price range that sound like that. It is absurd. For those of you who don't know, it's got 500 plus horsepower, 400 plus foot-pounds of torque. It revs to 8,500 RPM, which is absurd. For those of you who don't know, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for my Shelbys. I've worn my t-shirt on countless times. It's just been one of those cars that I've loved, going all the way back to like the original stuff, like the Shelby Cobra. This car even has a Shelby Cobra license plate frame. It's just the coolest thing, and the fact that it's a Shelby and it has all of this crazy history is just, it's so cool for me. So you might be wondering, why did I purchase a Shelby GT350 over this car or that car that I've mentioned recently? Well, there was one thing that I wanted this car to have over everything else. It had to have a manual transmission. I've only ever owned one manual other car. That was my Subaru STI, and to this day, I will say it is the best car I have ever owned. There was just something so special about that car, and I actually spent 6 months looking for that car, joining Facebook groups, calling car dealers, and scouring online listings everywhere for it, and I couldn't find it. So I had to find something else, and I knew it had to have a manual transmission. And I shopped a bunch of different cars all against each other, from sports cars like the Jag F-Type and AMG GT, to tuner cars like Nissan S15s, Nissan 300ZXs, and even BMW M3s. I took a look at everything. And even the big brother to this car, the Shelby GT500. However, since I wanted a manual transmission, a lot of those cars had to get cut. The Shelby GT500 is automatic only, and because I wanted a stick, that had to say goodbye, along with the Jag F-Type, along with the AMG. It was time to say goodbye and find something else. And eventually, after cutting a bunch of cars out, taking a look at what was around me, this is what I decided on. It was perfect. I love the Ford platform from my Ford Raptor. As some of you guys saw, I got to drive around in a Ford Ranger a bunch as well, and I absolutely loved that thing as well. And this was just the logical next step for me. You might be saying, hey, what about the Audi RS6? You've been talking about that car forever, and it's finally in North America now. Why didn't you get one of them? Well, that for me is more of like a chill car, a more like everyday type of car. And when I go and replace the Ford Raptor, that's when I would consider an Audi RS6. I know some of you also might be saying, hey, what about the McLaren 600 LT that I've been talking about forever? That's a $250,000 car. I don't have $250,000. Like, that's just unrealistic. As much as I love the McLaren 600 LT, that's just, not possible. Anyways, let's change gears a little bit and go from talking about why I bought this car to the things that I want to do to this car. Let's talk about the customization. So, at the end of the day, this is a Ford Mustang. It is one of the most customizable platforms out there, so it's logical that this car is not going to stay stock for very long. However, if you guys have any ideas, please let me know in the comments down below, because I guarantee you there are things that I haven't thought of. I know a bunch of you guys actually have Mustangs out there, so if there's any like really common mods that I just don't know about, please let me know and help me out a little bit on my Mustang adventures. Anyways, in terms of this car, as with all of my other cars, customization is something that I like to do, but I never really go over the top with it. If you're expecting a wide body, wheel arches wider than the lanes, a car slammed and touching the ground, that is not what's gonna happen. I'm always very, very conservative with what car mods I do to my vehicles. I like making my cars feel like mine, but I don't like making them go over the top and just pouring buckets of money into them. That just doesn't make sense for me. The first mod I'm actually interested in doing is an exhaust mod. Of course, that's gotta be like one of the first things you do. Obviously, this car sounds incredible straight from the factory, but there's actually one major difference between this thing and the Shelby GT350R. In the exhaust, basically all the way up at the front of the car to the back of the car in the GT350R, it's basically a straight long pipe. On this though, there's a resonator that restricts airflow and makes it a little bit quieter. Quieter isn't something really in my dictionary, and I don't really know what it means, so obviously that's gotta go. So we're gonna be removing that resonator and basically making it a lot louder, which is always a great thing. The second thing I want to do is this car is a little bit high, like lifted up, honestly. It would definitely fail a shoe test, and that is not acceptable, so we've got to lower it down a little bit. However, on the Shelby GT350, we have these things called Magna ride suspension. Now, I need to do a little bit more research as how they work. However, they're not usually something you would go and replace with like a coilover setup to slam your car down all the way. I mean, you can do that, but it's just kind of unnecessary. What I'm interested in doing is going and getting lowering springs that specifically work with the Magna ride suspension to lower it down maybe just a tiny bit or so. I think that would be quite tasteful, keep this thing drivable at the end of the day, and all around look a bit cooler. Anyways, third thing that I want to do to this car, I want to change up the rear wing. One of the differences between the 2017 and the new 2020 Shelby GT350s is the rear wing, actually. It's one of the only ways you can tell an older one from a newer one. The newer ones have these really big, aggressive rear wings with like holes in it and stuff. They look really, really cool, and my one is a little bit on the dinky side. I think overall, we need to make it look a little bit more aggressive, modernize it a little bit, and just all around make it a little bit cooler again. Again, this is where I need your guys' help. If you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments down below. Maybe we'll do a tune for the car, I don't really know. Please let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see. This car isn't under warranty anymore, so that means we can properly have some fun with it. So if you guys do have any suggestions, please let me know. And honestly, that's about it for the Shelby GT350. That's a pretty good recap of everything that you need to know, the reasons why I got it, what I plan to do with it in the future. One thing to know, I will be making some TikToks about this car because I'm 12 on the inside. So if that's something you're interested in watching, there'll be a link down below for my TikTok. As per always, every time I buy a new car, I've always got to thank you, because without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So from deep down, thank you guys so much for all of the support on all of these videos. Thank you so much for watching, clicking subscribe, liking the videos, and commenting. It means so much more than you think, so thank you. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys soon with some Shelby GT350 videos. I'll see you guys then. Bye!